January 15, 1998, Thursday morning, Hamburg. The studio was booked for 10 a.m. Modern Talking Reunion Rehearsal, Studio A. First time those words appeared in a booking sheet since 1987. 11 years, not 10, 11. 1987 to 1998. Longer than the original partnership in some ways. The breakup lasted longer than the collaboration. The separation exceeded the connection. Now, reunion. Officially announced, contracts signed, press releases prepared, comeback album planned, tour scheduled, everything decided, everything arranged, everything negotiated, through managers, through lawyers, through intermediaries. Dieter and Thomas hadn't spoken directly, hadn't negotiated personally, hadn't discussed face to face, all business conducted at distance, all decisions made separately, all agreements reached through third parties, professional reunion, clear boundaries, defined roles, limited scope. This was business, this was career, this was commercial decision, not personal reconciliation, not friendship restoration, not relationship repair, just work together. Again, the question nobody could answer: would it work? Could they still create together? Did the musical chemistry survive 11 years of separation? Could they stand in the same room? Could they make music without making conflict? Could professional partnership exist without personal connection? Today would answer those questions. First rehearsal, first time face-to-face since 1987, first time in the same space, first time attempting collaboration, first test of whether reunion was possible, or just fantasy. Thomas arrived at 9:55 a.m., 5 minutes early, very early for him, normally precise, on time, reliable, but rarely early. Today early, he sat in his car. Same pattern as the final recording session 5 years from now that hasn't happened yet. Same nervous energy, same weight, same significance, but opposite emotion, then ending, now beginning, again, different context, same dynamic. He looked at the studio building. Different studio than the last session. Different location, different space, but same purpose, same partnership, same configuration. Him and Dieter, making modern talking, creating music, professional collaboration, personal distance. He checked his appearance in the rearview mirror, neat, professional, appropriate. This wasn't casual, this was business meeting, first impression. Mattering after 11 years. What do you wear to reunion with someone you worked with intimately but never connected with personally? Someone you made millions with but never understood. Someone you created magic with but never liked. Professional attire, neutral, safe. He got out of the car, walked to the entrance, entered the building, found Studio A. The door was closed. He could hear equipment being set up inside. The engineer, already working. Professional preparation. He checked his watch. 9:58 a.m., 2 minutes early. Should he wait? Should he enter? Should he? The decision was made for him. Another car pulled into the parking lot. Dieter, exactly 10:00 a.m., punctual as always, precise, reliable, expected. Thomas watched through the glass door. Dieter parked, got out. Professional attire, neutral, safe, same calculation, same consideration, same question about what to wear to impossible reunion. They saw each other, through the glass, eye contact, across the space. First time in 11 years, Thomas's thought he looks the same, older but the same, familiar but strange, known but distant. Dieter's thought he looks nervous. Good, I'm not the only one, this is awkward for both of us. That's fair. Dieter walked to the entrance. Thomas stepped back, giving space, physical space, emotional space, professional distance. Even in greeting, Dieter entered. They stood, 3 feet apart, in the corridor, outside Studio A after 11 years. Hello, Thomas said, first word, neutral, safe, professional. Hello, Dieter replied, same tone. Same safety, same professional distance. That was it, that was the greeting. No handshake, no hug, no how have you been, no good to see you, no I've missed this, just hello, hello. 11 years, hundreds of songs together, millions of records, global success, bitter breakup, complete separation, 11 years apart, and hello, hello. They stood, awkward silence. What now? What do you say? What's appropriate? The studio door opened. The engineer, saving them, morning, ready when you are. Professional, neutral, giving them escape from the impossible conversation. They entered. The studio was ready, set up, prepared, keyboards in position, microphones arranged, mixing board configured, everything as it should be, as it always was, familiar. Territory safer than the corridor, safer than conversation, safer than attempting human connection. Music was safer, music was possible, music they could do. Dieter went to the keyboards, his position, his territory, his domain. 11 years hadn't changed that. This was still his space. Thomas went to the microphone area, his position, his territory, his domain, also unchanged. The geography of their partnership remained constant. The distance remained consistent. The manager entered, had been waiting, giving them private greeting moment. Now present, gentlemen, thank you for being here. This is historic, modern talking, together again after 11 years, professional enthusiasm, managed optimism, ignoring the obvious tension, ignoring the minimal greeting, ignoring the emotional. Vacuum, the plan is simple. Run through the classic hits, see how they feel, test the chemistry, make sure everything works. Then we can discuss new material, new direction, new approach. He paused, looked between them. Unless you want to talk first, catch up, discuss the past 11 years. Both, no, simultaneous, united, first agreement. Talk would be dangerous, talk would be difficult, talk would require emotion. Better to skip, better to avoid. Better to go straight to work. Music was safer, music was easier, music was possible. Okay then, let's start with You're My Heart, You're My Soul. The first hit, the original, see if the magic's still there. Dieter positioned his hands on the keyboard. Familiar placement, muscle memory, hadn't played this in 11 years. But his hands knew, his fingers remembered, his body held the knowledge. He started playing. The iconic intro, instantly recognizable, the synthesizer melody that defined modern talking, that launched everything, that started it all. Thomas listened, 8 bars, intro, his cue approaching, the familiar moment, the known pattern, the muscle memory activating. He sang, first note, first word, first performance with Dieter in 11 years, and perfect. Instantly perfect, the vocal tone matched the instrumental, the timing locked, the harmony aligned, like no time had passed, like 11 years disappeared, like they'd never stopped. The chemistry was immediate, the connection instant, musical connection, not personal connection, musical chemistry, not human chemistry, but musically. Magic still there, still working, still perfect. They finished the song, both stopped, silence, the manager, that was incredible. You sound better than ever. The chemistry is still there. This is going to work. Thomas and Dieter didn't respond, didn't acknowledge, didn't celebrate, just ready for next song. The manager got the message. No small talk, no analysis, no discussion, just work. Brother Louis, Dieter started playing. Thomas sang perfect again, same instant chemistry, same flawless execution, same magical musical connection, same complete personal disconnect. Cherie, Cherie Lady, perfect. Geronimo's Cadillac, perfect. Atlantis is Calling, perfect. Song after song, hit after hit, every single one flawless. The musical chemistry was undeniable. The partnership worked. The magic existed. The connection was real, musically, only musically. Between songs, silence, not hostile silence, not uncomfortable silence, just nothing, no conversation, no catching up, no remember when we recorded this, no this was always your favorite. No, we performed this in Berlin, that was a great show. Nothing, just silence between songs, the next song, then silence. The next song, pattern, routine, familiar. The engineer watched, amazed, confused. They sounded perfect. The music was flawless, the harmony impeccable, but they weren't talking, weren't interacting, weren't connecting, like two musicians who'd never met, just happened to have perfect musical chemistry. By accident, by miracle, by impossibility. An hour passed, 10 songs, 10 perfect performances, 0 personal words. The manager suggested a break. Let's take 15 minutes, get coffee, relax, catch up. Thomas, I'm fine continuing. Dieter, same, let's keep working. Second agreement, avoid the break, avoid the coffee, avoid the catching up, avoid the personal, stay in the music, stay in the work, stay in the safety. They continued. Jet airliner. Give me peace on earth in 100 years, doctor for my heart. Every song from the catalog, every hit, every deep cut, every B-side, all perfect, all flawless, all demonstrating musical chemistry while demonstrating human distance. 2 hours, 20 songs, 0 conversations. The engineer needed a break, had to, physically required. I need 10 minutes, bathroom, water, sorry. he left. Thomas and Dieter stayed, in the studio, alone, for the first time in 11 years, alone in a room together. This was the moment, the opportunity, to talk, to acknowledge, to say something about the past, about the breakup, about the 11 years, about this reunion, about anything. They said nothing. Thomas checked his phone. Dieter adjusted keyboard settings, both avoiding, both protecting, both maintaining. The engineer returned, relieved. The silence would have been unbearable if he'd stayed, but they seemed fine, seemed comfortable, seemed content in their musical connection, in their personal distance, in their impossible partnership. 3 hours, 30 songs, the manager watching, taking notes, observing, the musical chemistry undeniable, the personal connection non-existent. How was this possible? How could two people have such perfect artistic chemistry with such complete personal disconnect? How could harmony be so flawless while conversation was impossible? How could they know each other so well musically while being strangers personally? It shouldn't work. It didn't make sense. It violated logic. Perfect partnership required connection, required relationship, required understanding. Yet here, perfect partnership, zero relationship, minimal understanding, just music, pure music, uncontaminated by personal connection, uncompromised by human relationship, music in its purest form, two professionals executing excellence, without friendship, without warmth, without anything except professional competence. At 2 p.m. 4 hours after starting, the manager called halt. That's enough for today. That was extraordinary. You've proven it. The chemistry's there. The magic works. This reunion is viable. This is going to be incredible. Thomas and Dieter stopped. Both looked to the manager, both waiting for dismissal, both ready to leave. Before you go, can we talk about the album, about the tour, about the plan? Send the details through email, Dieter said. I'll review and respond. Same, Thomas said. Email is fine. You don't want to discuss now. All together, make decisions. We trust your judgment. Send proposals. We'll respond. Third agreement, avoid the conversation, avoid the meeting, avoid the personal discussion. Keep it distant, keep it professional, keep it managed. Okay, I'll send everything tonight. We'll reconvene next week. Same time. Both nodded, both prepared to leave. One more thing, lunch, the three of us, celebrate this successful first rehearsal. Thomas, I have another appointment, need to go. Dieter, same, busy day, thanks though. Both lying, both obvious, both accepted. Of course they didn't want lunch. Of course they didn't want to sit together. Of course they didn't want conversation. The music worked, that was enough, more than enough. Everything else was unnecessary. Thomas packed his things, minimal belongings, just what he'd brought, ready to leave quickly. Dieter did the same, both moving toward the door, both ready to exit, both wanting to escape. Well, good work today, the manager said, trying to create closure, trying to acknowledge achievement, trying to mark the significance. Thanks, Thomas said, to the manager, not to Dieter. See you next week. Yeah, thanks, Dieter said, also to the manager, not to Thomas. Next week. They left, separately, Thomas first. Dieter waited 30 seconds. Then followed, different exits, different directions, different cars. The manager sat, alone in the studio, processing. 4 hours, 30 songs. Perfect musical chemistry, complete personal disconnect, zero personal conversation, no catching up, no reminiscing, no connection, just work, just music, just professional execution, and it worked. It actually worked. Maybe that was the only way it could work. Maybe personal distance enabled professional excellence. Maybe the lack of relationship facilitated the musical partnership. Maybe they needed the disconnect to create the connection. Through music, only through music, never through words. That night both reflected. Separately, Thomas thought, 4 hours, not one personal word. Music perfect, better than remembered, instant chemistry. But we're strangers, 11 years apart, still strangers. Music connects, nothing else does. Is that enough? Apparently yes. The distance enables the music. We can't be friends, but we can be partners. That's what we are. Always been, always will be. Dieter thought, 4 hours, 30 songs, barely looked at him, just worked. Perfect. The chemistry undeniable. The silence between us enables the harmony within the music. Personal distance creates musical connection. Better. Partners because we're not friends. Sounds wrong, but true. Today proved it. We can work together, cannot be together, both truths, both permanent. The reunion would work, not despite the distance. Because of it, personal separation enabled professional collaboration. Human strangers created musical magic. Impossible, but proven. January 15, 1998. 4 hours, 30 songs, 2 people, perfect musical chemistry. Complete personal disconnect. Hello, hello, work, music, silence, see you next week, see you next week. That was the pattern, that was the dynamic, that was the relationship, musical partnership, personal strangers, professional excellence, human distance. That was modern talking, was, is, always will be. The rehearsals continued, week after week. Same pattern, same dynamic, minimal greeting, hours of music, perfect chemistry, zero personal conversation, separate exits. The manager stopped suggesting breaks, stopped suggesting lunch, stopped suggesting catching up, accepted the pattern, worked within the reality. They didn't need personal connection, didn't want personal connection. The music was the connection, the only connection, the sufficient connection. The album recorded, flawlessly, the tour planned. Successfully, the comeback executed, perfectly, all without personal relationship, all with professional distance, all through musical chemistry that existed independent of human connection. Critics noticed, the chemistry is remarkable. After 11 years apart, they sound like they never stopped. The musical connection is undeniable. True, their partnership has matured, more professional, more focused, more refined. True, the personal drama is behind them, they've moved past it, found peace. False, there was no drama because there was no personal interaction. No moving past because nothing was addressed. No peace, just professional distance, working successfully. But nobody needed to know that, nobody needed to understand. The music was enough, the performance was sufficient. The professional execution was complete. What happened between songs didn't matter. What didn't happen between humans was irrelevant. Modern talking was back. The reunion was real. The chemistry was proven. That's all that mattered. That's all anyone needed to know. The rest was private. The rest was theirs. The rest was the truth they lived but never spoke. January 15, 1998, first rehearsal. 4 hours of music, 0 minutes of connection, perfect partnership, complete strangers, both truths, both permanent, both modern talking, forever.